phone's blowing up. Sorry.
Oh. Should I wait to?
No. Or just include it, whatever. I don't know. Okay. Hey, Trent.
Hey, Trevor. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah. Sorry, I got an inspection going on, and it's an interesting scenario. We have the listing, and the owner, she's in assisted living.
Okay.
And then her kids, one of her sons had the guardianship over the estate, but through pre-foreclosure, lost the guardianship to his brother, which is rightfully so because they just about lost it to auction last month. We put it off, and we were able to put it off 2 months ago, but the tax lien auction came up, and they're not working with our attorneys, and we don't have a choice. And so we're having to sell it quicker than normal. Mm-hmm. And the one brother has MS that's living in the house. And so he's not working. He doesn't have an income. It's his mom's house. He's been living with his mom, taking care of her for 15 years. But the fact is he's got to find a place to live now. Well, anyways, that was one of the offers we had this last weekend. The buyer sent in his inspector, which is basically just a contractor because he's an investor. And so that, to go in there, and the brother that was living there kicked the guy out. Well, my kids are here, and it's like, no, you can't do that. You're losing the house. Your brother's being nice to let you stay here while he took over the house because you were losing it. Right. The court already gave it to him and gave him the option to kick you out, Yeah. And so anyways, it was just like this big back and forth. I called the guy. I feel bad for him. I feel horrible for him through this whole process. His wife's leaving him now. Oh, he's got MS real bad. He's just, but then then there's part of you just like, he's been milking it off of his mom for the last 20 years, and he's let that estate go to heck. And this was before all of his health problems. So I'm just like, I pray that you get it together, and actually, so through this divorce, she's figuring out a way to stay down here. And he's going to probably end up moving in with his brother up there, which his brother is who we've been working with the whole time. Mm-hmm. He's actually our client. He's the guardianship of the estate now. Yeah. His brother has been very kind to his younger brother for taking all the money and like the way that it's all went down, and so and tried to help him out as much as he could, but there's only so much he can do, and he needs to save the estate. Otherwise the estate is bye-bye. The auction's coming this next month pretty soon. So anyways, so now we're working to get the inspector in today because he kicked him out yesterday. We couldn't get him back. Oh, it's quite the deal. It's just like, this is what happens when you work in pre-foreclosures. It's never like
clean.
No, it's always, you're having to be a counselor, and, and we don't mind that. It's just, and you have to be very empathetic to what's going on. Everybody has something else going on. Yeah. At the same time, you have a job to do. Right. So we have a 10-day close, and he has 10 days to get out of there. And that started on Monday, so a couple days. Yeah. So we'll see about that. But anyways, that was the text going on. Like, it's been nonstop this morning.
Yeah. Well, action time,
Yeah. I was debating whether I'm going to have to go down there after this, which I think I'm going to have to, because the inspector is going to show up at noon. And I'm like, I think I just want to be there. Yeah. Smooth everything over, make sure it's all good, because I get along with the brother real well. Yeah. And I get it. Like, he's struggling with this whole thing, and he feels like his life's falling apart, and it is. So rightfully so. Rightfully so. So I want to be there for him, and don't want to feel like he's just getting picked on or anything. But I also have to make sure the job gets done. Right.
We got to get this done because there's bigger legal ramifications. Right. If you don't, and then your life might fall apart even more.
Correct.
If you don't.
Correct. Like, they need their inspection period, and they're already moving on things and, getting going. And So it's a 10-day close. So it's like, man,
super fast,
and we had a few people on this because we had another investor that we were trying to get involved. He would have been probably a DSCR or conventional. So I don't know, but we're trying to get him involved.
Yeah.
But we had about three. Jessica and I had about 3 investors that we were working with that we were trying to pitch this to and get as much as possible.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of going all around. Then this guy kind of just stepped up to the plate. So we're just like, okay, 10-day close, and we get this, and then the IRS liens will be taken care of.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, but yeah, it's nice when you're representing both sides and it's closing really quickly too.
Yeah. Like add to the numbers and all that. So.
Yeah, and we gave the seller a discount. We always give them a discount if we represent the buyer because we just feel like it's fair, and ultimately, like, it is about them. It's about getting, and making sure the deal just comes together. Both people are happy with the deal.
Yeah.
So we always take a discount if we represent both sides, but yes, it's nice still to represent both sides on a 500,000 plus house. So but anyways, what's going on with you? You got anything closing this week?
This week, no, I really don't have anything closing. I got a couple of future projects. I just had a bunch of files close out recently. I have a one-time close construction that I'm working on, so that's kind of fun. Getting to see somebody build their dream house and working through all that. I've never done one of those before, so it's always good to learn and work with my team to make it as smooth as possible.
And where's this build at? Is it somewhere around here?
Where is it at? I think it's not a Popka. It starts with an A. A-L Fayette or something like that.
Alfea?
Alfea.
Okay, I love that area.
Yeah.
So
building out there. So they own the land outright, which is cool because then they can just take the construction cost, and they're actually going to be able to close on this nothing out of pocket. They just have to make interest-only payments while the house being built.
Perfect.
And then it flips over to a regular mortgage after that, and you get floated down to the market rate.
What do they get counted for? So obviously it just comes in, they do the appraisal at the very end, and that's market value, and then whatever they took the loan out for, that's what they figure out what the down payment is. Because what if that comes in at 18% and they want to be at 20% at the end of the loan? Can they put 2% down to get to that?
Yeah, you can always work it out that way. Hey, I need to put more down on it. But a lot of times these work out really well because you're going to look at the land value, and it depends too. Did you buy the land outright or did you have a loan on it? If you have a loan on it, now you're going to pay it off right away, through your first installment, basically. So you can kickstart with that because you can't have 2 loans going on at the same time.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't want to build on something that's that's already leased or whatever, already just, there's liens on it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that one's been, pretty smooth going on. It took a little bit for the builder to fill out their stuff.
Yeah.
So that was the delay. And then I guess this poor kid, I say kid, but he's in his 20s, but he's been battling for permits for the longest time. We're trying to line it up so that he's not sitting on having to make any interest-only payments while waiting for...
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of permitting over there in Alfea, huh?
It took we started the process almost 6 months ago, and then we canceled that one out. And now we're finally restarting it. So it's just taking a while, but we started so it's lining up to be, he'll get it. We'll finish the loan as soon as he gets the permits, pretty much.
Okay. So you haven't been out in that area, have you?
No, I haven't gone out
You've probably driven through it going to Cocoa Beach because you kind of go through, Rio Pinar and all those areas over there. But there's a lot more kind of open land. And these subdivisions are almost kind of in pockets, and it's all super nice. And then they have these little towns that are basically huge planned developments. Yeah. And so they have their own town center. They're not really towns, but they might be eventually, you know, because they have just everything, giant residential areas where they plan developments are where they plan a giant residential area, but because the population is so much, you have to have a certain amount of commerce and different things inside of there. And so inside of this residential area, they'll allow certain things and businesses, grocery stores, etc., schools, whatever, inside this giant planned development. And then it might have like a master HOA and then little HOAs inside of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's, so a lot of those areas over there are just big planned developments out, you know. So anyways, I would imagine permitting has to do with that. Where are you just county, or are you in one of these areas
right.
that, you know, you're having to deal with one of these other entities or something.
Yeah, third parties fog everything down.
Yeah. And at the same time, like if we didn't have the ability to do a planned development, we'd be relying on government to actually build these towns, and they'd never get done. We'd have no infrastructure.
Right.
The cost would be 3 or 4 times as much, you know, but thanks to private business, you know, and the capitalist way, there's people that are willing and able to figure this stuff out, build the infrastructure that's necessary, put it into these planned developments, add these CDDs and these taxes that get paid over 30 years, you know, so that you can actually get stuff done, and then have the costs actually, you know, be competitive, you know, so that people can afford them. Yeah. So yeah, it's a great way to go, but that's right over, I don't know where we're at, but it's right over there somewhere by Rio Pinar on your way to Cocoa. But
gotcha.
If you're gonna make a difference in 2025, you gotta dig deep and find the why.
When I look back at all the things that I have been able to overcome in life, they prepared me for this moment right now.
If we have the right attitude, what's really in the streets isn't money in cash form, it's opportunity. And that is everywhere.
How you doing? Let's get this energy level up.
anyways, that sounds like a great deal.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been interesting. And then been working on the this good old reverse mortgage for 19 years. It feels like we been battling, going back and forth with underwriting because they're very specific on some of the stuff. Found out that the biggest issue, we have two issues left on it. One, we need to take, and the appraiser didn't do his job. On a VA and FHA appraisal, you have to take and get your own comparable photos. Our appraiser decided to take and be like, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to the MLS. I'm going to pull some things off there. It'll be fine. Not fine. So now they have issue with that. And then the other thing is we just have to have our particular letter for the non-borrowing spouse on it filled out, because it's missing the date they were diagnosed to no longer be competent to handle financial matters. So the POA can kick in. So that letter was missing it. So
unfortunately, that spouse thinks they're a senator right now.
Oh.
It's kind of sad, It's like somebody that spent their whole life and they've got it all together and they're like such a strong individual, and then your mind just goes to the point where you don't even know what's going on. There's just you're just not even you. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But that one's very near the end.
Good. Okay.
So we literally went to them. We're like, okay, you didn't like our first letter. Show us an example of what you want, so we can just do it that way. So now we need to just get that. And the process is working on it.
It's always interesting how that stuff happens. Like we have a closing in 2 days on one of our listings. And I'm used to just writing things up to make the underwriters happy, so that whatever you're trying to do, because you only have 3% of seller concessions to work with. So if you're still negotiating a roof, you got to write it up a certain way where the seller's paying for it. So we've done that like recently on different things.
Yep.
And we had one recently where we wrote it up exactly how we had it, that we had to change so that we could close, you know, and then this lender isn't happy with the way it's written. So then we did like 3 addendums before the lender was like, yes, this is acceptable, the underwriters. And it's like, just
like sometimes, and I get it because they see it as like they're steering, right? But it's like sometimes like, you know what, just tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. You know, I don't want to have to play games sometimes where it's like, ask my wife, like, what do you want to eat? Everything's fine.
Yeah.
You know, actually, no, I never have to deal with that because my wife is amazing and she already has in her mind what she wants and she actually ends up ordering the food typically at dinner. And I love it. Yeah. But other people may have wives that are like, what do you want? Well, I don't know, anything's fine.
Yeah.
And then you go get something and then it's not. That's not what I wanted. Oh, great. Could you just told me what you wanted? No.
I think the trick is that you just get everything.
Just get everything. And well, in this case, here is 6 addendums. Can you pick the one you like?
They're all signed.
They're all signed. You know, you just tell me which 5 we're throwing out.
Well, the funny thing is like in my head, when I'm a very logical person. Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, so this is the situation is they're on this one. And I think maybe it was the same on the other. No, the other one was a FHA. Mm-hmm. See, this one is a conventional.
It should be a little looser.
It should be a little looser. Like, I don't know what the heck's going on with this thing, you know, but it's a conventional and they have like a decent amount down. So I don't know. I think it's 10% down or something. Okay. But anyways, but they're still asking for seller concessions. It's the way it works because they need a certain amount down for whatever. Yeah. Probably debt to income or something like that. So the seller has a 22-year-old roof. And so they said, we agree to pay for it, but we don't have the money. We'll pay. We already want to pay for it. We just want to pay it out of proceeds. Yeah. You know? And so we wrote it up. The seller is going to buy, you know, a roof out of proceeds, you know, and the money will be paid to the roofer at closing by the seller. Yeah. You know? And then plus they want their 3%. And then they're having a fit like, no, we can't do that. That's more. And I'm like, see, a lot, but I get what you're saying. But even then, like, you logically look at this, the seller wants to, because they want to sell their house, and they would have done it ahead of time, but they couldn't get the loan or couldn't, you know, or would have taken too long, or they just didn't have the money. So they needed to pay out of proceeds. It just seems so simple. Right.
But as soon as they have like a dollar amount to the roof and all that, then you know, they're getting above the 3%. Maybe that's why ours was easier, because it was FHA and you had up to 6% concessions that we could play with.
True, but we still had those numbers that we had to mess around with to get it to that 6%, because they were still asking for even more
on top.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, it's always finagling to make people happy, but you know, but it is one of those situations I'm like, there shouldn't be an issue here. Why are we, like, it feels like we're creating issues. Right. You know? And then we're changing verbiage to get the same exact thing done. Like, I'm just like, we're working towards the same goal.
Are we on the same team here? Everyone wants to close, right?
What the heck is going on here? Yeah. So anyways, but everything's we finally got that figured out. And on the other side too, the agent, this is her first deal. So,
lovely.
And
learning experience.
Yeah, her brokerage isn't into like teaching her proper ways to do things. So
we'll keep you out of jail.
I will say, like, just because she has the patience of Job, she just takes this agent, gets her on the phone. Listen, this is what you need to do. Yeah. You know, she when they wanted to redo the addendum, they're saying, you know, the roof isn't going to work. She's like, okay, I'll get with my brokerage and we'll do that. She sends over a new purchase and sale agreement. And we're like 4 weeks into the deal. Yeah. And we're like, that's not how this works. We just need to change how, you know,
just a little addendum.
Yeah. So, but we don't mind actually helping out like at all. Like, it's great. And she was super nice about it. But I was like, why isn't, like, she keeps saying that she's asking her broker and this is what a broker tells her to do. And I'm like, but this isn't like, it was one thing after another. I was like, that's not how things, you know, I'm the type of person where I'm like, I read the bylaws, I read all that stuff. And so Like I know the contracts. Like when I explain the contracts, they're upside down. This page is this. This page is we're going down here, and I'm looking at the person, and I'm just going down because I know the contracts. So, but I don't think most people are like that.
Yeah.
You know. So, but that's how my brain works. I want to know what's in there. I want to be able to, and that's where my value lies. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not the prototypical realtor that's, you know, that they're super outgoing like most of the women and stuff, you know. I mean, I'm outgoing, but it's not, you know, I don't win people by that. I win people by
the details, the negotiation,
yes.
winning,
yes.
getting the value.
I would imagine you're pretty similar though.
For like the details and all that.
Yeah, like you're like seem like a detail oriented person.
Yeah, I do a bit of both, you know, because like as like honestly, you gotta like promote yourself a certain way, you know, and it's not always interesting to be like, oh, this person can just do all the detail stuff, you know.
Yeah.